Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
And good morning to one and all. I exclude no one. Any one of you. Good morning. That's a wish, not necessarily a statement of fact. And it's put us in it's my dad's birthday, March 11th. He'd be like 105 or something, 104. Well, he's not. So March 11th, it's a Tuesday, but my sister, as far as I can tell, has not joined the party. So not quite sure about what's going on there, since I did have some communication with her earlier. I can't even find the damn... Oh yeah, she's there. Wait a minute. Okay, there you are. Hello.
Hi.
Where were you?
I totally forgot it was Tuesday. I'm not kidding.
Jesus, God, addled. Okay.
I mean, and then I was running around like a chicken with my head off, trying to figure out where because I was.
Whatever.
I'm here.
Okay.
I figured it out.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, where to start? I was telling my sister, this one, and my brother earlier this morning that I saw that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in talks with Aaron Rodgers, I assume, for a quarterback position, which to me is insane and horrific in every way. And I mentioned it to them because we are also, as you know, Packer fans, and we've had more than enough of him. I don't ever want to be rooting for a team that he's on again. And at least when the Packers had him, he was good.
He was obnoxious but good. Well,
yes.
He wasn't obnoxious in the beginning. He grew to be more and more obnoxious.
He was strange.
Why would anybody want anything to do with him? He is so patently unworkable. He won't work with anyone. He won't take advice, orders. He's hardly a model employee. I don't know why you'd take him.
Why you'd take him, especially now.
And he's old.
He's 41 years old, and he hasn't shown that he's got anything. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. God, please. Oh, God. We already sent one of our quarterbacks to the Jets. They signed him. And now, if this becomes a trade of quarterbacks, oh my God. I just have to say, I found that as I was trying to go to sleep last night, and it ruined me. It annoyed me, is what it did. But it's nice to be annoyed about things that really don't make a damn bit of difference. In the great scheme of things.
In the greater scheme of things, yes. It's nice to be annoyed by petty shit.
Yeah.
Instead of the end of the world as we know it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a definite a distraction for a while. So anyway, the story that really caught my eye today is in the New York Times, and it's a listing of the words that the Trump administration and all of its agencies have informed its employees that they are to not use and or avoid using. It's a very long list. You want to hear some of the words that have been canceled?
Oh, I've been screaming about this for a while. Woman would be one of them.
Woman is one, but what's amazing is woman is one.
Historically.
But so is, it's actually there, women. And
women.
even the phrase women.
We've been banned.
The word
Which makes
women,
me wonder, does that therefore make us men? And are we therefore like transgender?
Well, I don't know. But if it's not bad enough, I was shocked when before I got to woman being banned, because it's in alphabetical order, I saw female is also banned. And I thought, what? And then I thought, well, is male banned if female's banned? And I looked, it's not. I mean,
no, we're banned.
Now, seriously, how do you have an agency that deals with Americans, most of whom are female, and you're supposed to avoid mentioning the word in any governmental document? I mean, what level of insanity is this?
Well, also banned is a word like historically.
Yeah, historically, because history is not to be, history. Right. Well, inequality is banned. Not inequality is banned. The word is, lest we even consider that it should even ever occur. Right. Accessible. Advocacy, anti-racism, at risk. These are all banned. Bias, the word, is banned, not the act, but bias is banned. Black people, sorry, black is banned.
Well, welcome to the women's side of things. This is like when I found out there was a size 0. Yeah. That pissed me off too, because it suggested that I was,
not there. Native Americans, you too. You've joined the list. You're banned. LGBT banned. Latinx banned. LGBTQ banned. Transgender, transsexual banned. Injustice banned. I'm for banning injustice, but I don't think I'm approaching that in the same manner that these guys are. Social justice banned. And then they banned, here's one that I thought was funny. They banned commercial sex worker. And I thought, it's too woke for them.
Did they prefer prostitute? Is prostitute banned?
Well, then I thought, you're supposed to call them whores again. I guess what? But then, no, Susan, I came upon prostitute is banned. So if you ban the terminology commercial sex worker and prostitute, you're left with what? Whore? That's okay?
I don't know. You're left with sex traffickers who now it can't possibly be a crime because there ain't no such a thing.
Well, minorities are banned here too. Minorities, men who have sex with men, banned. Immigrants, banned. Can't make it up. Equality, banned. Equal opportunity, banned. Oppression, pregnant people, that's okay with me. Oh my God. You can't make this up. And then the New York Times put like some of the what had been up on some computers, that the public accesses, FAA and Head Start, National Park Service, and showing you what they used to say and how whole hunks of them have just disappeared. Like here's a whole thing from Head Start that is no longer on there. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a disparate impact on under-resourced communities. Well, that one's gone, including many of those served by Head Start. There also has been heightened attention to racial injustice in our country, which has led to calls for major reforms to address longstanding societal inequities. These are particularly important concerns for OHS and the Head Start workforce. Well, they were, babes, because that is all out. All of it. Also out. Further, 60% of Head Start teaching staff are Black, Indigenous, and people of color. and 30% have a primary language other than English. That's gone. Here's one gone from the State Department's office. The climate crisis knows no boundaries. It's no longer there because climate crisis is one of the banned things. Climate crisis and clean energy.
Yeah.
The climate crisis knows no boundaries, and both the challenge and its solutions range from local to global in scale. Gone, gone, gone. Because of this, international cooperation gone, and collaboration gone, through negotiation gone, and implementation of international agreements gone, are essential. Gone. The Paris Agreement, that's gone. There's like 3 words left. Now, were these the guys? Oh my God. It's
No, you got to laugh or you'll cry. I mean, what are you going to do?
You know, yesterday I pointed out that the Justice Department had knocked off 3 more high non-political appointees who had been there forever. One was the chief, clemency officer, warrant officer. She oversees all this stuff. They then make some recommendations to a president about who might, be up for pardon or clemency or that or whatever. And she got canned out of the blue the other day, and with a few others, and didn't know why. Well, she learned later why. She had refused to put Mel Gibson on a list of people who should get their gun rights back.
Oh, God.
Now, I didn't know he had his gun rights taken away, but it turns out Mel Gibson did, and it shouldn't surprise you, because he was convicted of, I think, some measure of sexual battery of a girlfriend at some point. I'll find it here.
He was just genuine.
He's just an awful person. Yeah. So his gun. Part of what happened with that was that his gun, as they often are from people who are known to be domestic abusers, guns are confiscated, and so that's what happened with him. It says here it was a charge of battering his former girlfriend, and as part of a deal with prosecutors, he was allowed to avoid jail time. He received a sentence of community service, counseling, and 3 years of probation, and was ordered to pay fines, and also he had to forfeit his guns. Now, that was like in 2011. But now that Trump's in office, Mel's attorney got in touch and said,
well, because domestic violence is no longer an issue.
No,
these
half
guys
the cabinet
are all thugs, and they want permission to. No.
And so 2 weeks before Gibson's lawyer sent the letter to Trump, Trump had already announced on social media that he had named Mel Gibson as a special ambassador to a very troubled place, Hollywood, California. Also, Gibson was noticed this past weekend at a UFC event, a violent event, sitting with the new FBI director, Kash Patel. Okay, so here are the guys. They're now, he'll get his gun. They're all back. And
and Mel Gibson is a rather famous anti-Semite, to boot.
Yeah, to say the least. So all these guys, this is what, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So this poor woman's out of a job because she said, I really can't do that. We can't do that. It sets a precedent that could get a lot of women killed. I can't do that. So they threw her out the door.
Well, this is where we are now, and they're going after all the law firms that were involved in anything, involving Trump.
Yeah. So this, there's no stone unturned. I mean, there's no slight, no grievance that they won't now do the payback on. And I mean, you see, every time you open the paper, here's another one. Lawyers plan to sue federal government on behalf of January 6 rioters. So these rioters are going to go after the government now and ask to be compensated for having tried to stage a takeover of the government. And guess who one of their lawyers is? See if this name rings a bell. Mark McCloskey.
Oh, sure. He's the guy that advised the overthrow of the election.
No, Mark McCloskey. I don't know if he did that. He was the guy most of us know from standing in his yard in St. Louis.
Oh, that guy. Oh, not the St. Louis. Awful man.
With an AR-15 along with his wife as peaceful protesters marched by his house.
Yeah, he's the guy that killed the beehives. He destroyed the beehives in the back of the synagogue to which his property was adjacent.
Oh, okay. But he's an absolute asshole and became famous because he was out there with the AK whatever as protesters. I think it was Black Lives Matter protesters marched by his house. And I forget what happened to him. I thought he was disbarred or convicted of something.
He and his wife were both convicted of lesser things, and I don't know if he was disbarred, but whatever happened, within short order, even in Missouri, it was overturned when the
governor. It says the governor of Missouri
pardoned
him. And he also spoke at the national convention. And one of the things he said, no matter where you live, your family will not be safe in the radical Democrats' America. So now he's trying to make sure that these sons of bitches, the Proud Boys and all the others, I guess, get some money. They're suing.
No, but that's just a total misunderstanding of the pardon process. It doesn't mean they didn't do it or anything like that. And you can't sue someone for properly doing their job. I mean, you can, but it's not going to particularly get anywhere.
Well, we'll see. It depends what judge you get. God.
I know. It's too much.
Pretty much too much. So, a guy who used to run the Social Security Administration, Martin O'Malley.
Oh yeah, they're breaking that too, and
really breaking it.
And there are so many people who rightfully planned their retirement to, if not solely rely on it, which a ton of people do, at least acknowledge that it was there and use that as part of the calculation of what their monthly income should be.
And
if it disappears, they're in trouble.
For a lot of people. We're talking 70 million Americans. 70 million get Social Security.
And by the way, who paid in their whole lives.
That's right.
This is not some sort of a gift.
So the guy who used to run it.
Some of us paid in twice because, people like me, I paid in, my husband paid in. I just get one of those. I don't get both of those.
Martin O'Malley, who used to run it, really thinks, well, here's what he said. you're going to see the system collapse. You're going to see an interruption of benefits. I believe you will see that within the next 30 to 90 days. That's how he thinks it's going to collapse that soon.
And then they're going to blame it on the system and instead of them. And if anybody falls for that, shame on them, because you just watched them break it.
Because it's never not worked. It has.
It's never not worked before. Yeah. It's never not worked before. The only thing that happened is a bunch of 19-year-olds walked in and turned off the computers and then screwed up the software and then turned them back on. That's what happened.
So, you know, you look at the country right now, and you know, Trump got a pretty, you know, if Trump had done nothing that influenced the economy since he started up, we'd be in much better shape than we are now. I mean, since he came to power, he started a trade war. The stock market is reeling. You know, we got a trade war going, then not going, then going again, then not going, which is no way ever. That kind of uncertainty and chaos is no way in which any investor is willing to invest in anything.
The short sellers are having a riot.
Okay.
There's ways to make. There's a lot of ways to make a lot of money on this market, especially if he can be counted on to keep issuing these 1 month things, because you can be putting and calling on that all day.
Well, and then taxes coming up April 15, and they're decimating the IRS, which was already.
Well, I don't think any of us should pay our taxes. Why should we fund them? They're just going to misappropriate it.
But the only people who they already have not had the staff to go after the big cheaters, who are the rich guys. So and the veterans are being screwed left, right, and center. There's going to be 80,000 fewer people serving them at VAs.
The thing that always surprises me, though, is this constant refrain that we're hearing from people who have been fired, who the first thing they say is, I wasn't redundant. I wasn't the chaff. I was pulling my weight. And as if to say, it's the other guy. And I want someone to say, we were all there doing important jobs. What makes you think we weren't? There weren't enough of us.
Well, what my guess is that some agencies are really well structured and run. Others might be a little bloated. Anyone who's ever worked in anywhere knows there are some really extraordinary employees, and then just some average who do the work employees, and a few bad apples. But that's not how they're going about this.
No. If there's anything thoughtful about it, it would be fine. But there is nothing thoughtful about it. No. It's cruel. It's heartless.
Well, cruel and heartless is what they love.
That's what they're based on. It's designed to break the government. It will not be rebuilt once it is broken. All of these people that are being hurt will not blame them. They'll blame government. And and how it continues to disappoint them.
Well, the government now is Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
Yeah, and they put him in.
Okay, well, I got the most interesting thing. I have this correspondence with a guy who's doing life in prison, and he's been doing life in prison for 50 years, so that's his reality. And he's very bright, and he sent me something the other day that I found really interesting. First of all, I didn't know. The guy, it turns out, is a mathematical genius. And he's some theorem he's come up with is being published in a big scientific journal. But he wanted to tell me about this, a guy who was considered the greatest logician, logic guy.
Yeah.
You ever heard of a guy named Kurt Gödel?
No.
I hadn't. Anyway, he was an Austrian, and he ended up at Princeton, and I'm looking at a picture. He sent me a picture of him with Einstein, and they became very good friends. Einstein is quoted as saying, "I go to my office just to have the privilege of being able to walk home with Kurt Gödel." So Einstein really looked up to this guy. And the guy decides finally to become an American citizen. And he knows he has to take a test. And he went about studying for the citizenship exam like he went about studying for anything. He read books. He read tons of books. He read about U.S. history. He read about law. And during the course of it, this brilliant Austrian said, "I think I have found an inner contradiction in the United States Constitution." And as Einstein drove him to the court in Trenton, New Jersey, he told Gödel, "Listen, this stuff you're thinking about, the Constitution and the contradiction, don't bring it up." It wouldn't be smart.
Don't confuse them.
Yeah, no, because you're gonna pass this. Just shut up. Take the test and shut up. But Gödel kept saying, and in fact, at some stage during the proceedings, the judge said that the Constitution of the United States, unlike the Constitution in Austria, would always hold and would never permit a dictatorship. And Gödel said, oh, yes, no, it will, and I can prove it. And Einstein goes, "Oh, God in heaven, no." And it says here in this is it's from a book about this guy. It says, fortunately, Einstein managed to shut him up, and he became, excuse me, Eric.
And he became a citizen.
Yeah. And it is never clear what this contradiction he found was. And my correspondent in jail said, "What do you think it was?" And I said, "Well, I think we're all finding out. I don't know what Gödel in his genius saw, but we're certainly finding out that what the judge said is wrong.
Wrong.
Absolutely wrong."
I mean, that's what we all naively thought until we watched it crumble in a few weeks.
That's right. Because if you have, if the people elect, as in Germany and as here, elect a man intending to dismantle the democracy and to be an authoritarian, and if the other two branches of government that our Constitution felt would provide balance if one of them went awry, if they capitulate, as certainly the Congress has totally capitulated. So all we've got is a Supreme Court, which by the numbers also looks like it could be not serve the democracy, but serve the executive. I mean, it gave him already absolute carte blanche to do whatever he wants to do, gave him a kind of king-like authority.
Well, he thanked him for it at the
State of the Union. Unbelievable. And so you can see how easy, we have all watched, how easily this democracy can be taken down. So, anyway, Dan Rather writes a Substack, and he says, I'm often asked by people, what can I do? And he says this, and I'm just passing it on. He says, many people will be adversely affected by Trump's ineptitude and disregard. If you are able, help those less fortunate. Volunteer at a shelter, donate to a food bank, become a tutor, be active in community work. Get active politically, stay active. Keep asking yourself, what can I do? And stay optimistic, stay steady, he says. That's his byword, steady. Make steady your byword. Americans are a resilient people who have been through periods of upheaval and disquiet before. Ours remains a great country with the potential of becoming even better, provided we don't allow this current reign of chaos to continue unchecked. Stay steady.
Yeah, there's a brewery owner in northern Wisconsin who I've told you about before. It's the Minocqua Brewing Company, but he's very active politically, of the Pennsy order. And he is literally beginning to set up the machinery for the resistance. And identifying people, has people calling in and volunteering all over the state, and he's just stepping up and doing it, and and organizing a resistance effort so that people who want to do something can do something. And if anyone wants to see how he's doing it, you can just look it up and see how he's set it up.
Well, I'll tell you. Taking it seriously is something that becomes especially important in that northern tier of states that share the Great Lakes with Canada and share borders with Canada.
Yeah, Michigan's going to get very expensive power in about
any second now. So the thing is, we've learned more about some of the things that Trump has been telling the Canadians in private conversations. He has flat out told them that he does not believe the treaty that demarcated the border between Canada and the United States was valid.
Oh, for hell.
No, it's true. So these are the kinds of things, ask Vladimir Putin. These are the kind of things you say when you are intending to take some push into. And he says he wants to revise the border, the boundary. Now, the Canadians, as you know, are taking this now not as a joke, and I don't think they should. They're taking it seriously. This, by the way, this border was established in 1908. Trump has also mentioned that he doesn't like the current agreements for sharing the Great Lakes which border Canada and the United States, and we share them. And also some rivers get involved. And the Great Lakes, all of this stuff is regulated by a number of treaties. Now, the reason we've never heard of any of these treaties is because we have never had
them.
We have never had anything, but perfectly lovely, amenable relations with the two. So the Financial Times has reported that there are discussions in the White House about removing Canada from a crucial intelligence alliance that they've been a part of for a long, long time. That alliance is called Five Eyes, and it includes Canada, the United States, Britain, Austria, and New Zealand. And Trump is intending to kick Canada out. Our new Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, had a nice talk with the Secretary of the Finance Minister of Canada. And he said that Trump had come to realize that the relationship between the US and Canada was governed by a slew of agreements and treaties that were very easy to abandon. And he intended to. And he wants to tear up the Great Lakes agreements and conventions between the two nations that lay out how they share them. He's also reviewing military cooperation between the two countries, particularly the North American Aerospace Defense Command. Now, there is no plausible reason why you'd be doing any of this stuff. If somewhere in the back of your head, you weren't thinking of maybe taking a little piece here and there. So when the Canadians boo our national anthem, understand they've got good reason to.
Oh yeah, it's just it's appalling.
And I would not.
They're doing the same thing to the Native American tribes too. There's suggesting that none of those treaties.
So and I would not. This is such a shit show. It is hard to. We got another call. Let's get a caller in here. Hang on. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Hey, you were talking about the Social Security. I just want to say one thing about that. If anybody thinks that they just collect Social Security and they don't need the Social Security because they got pensions and they got money in the bank, guess what? If you do away with Social Security, nothing. Your money won't be worth nothing, and your pensions won't be worth nothing because this country will collapse. That is the biggest part of our economy. The senior citizens money that you and I all we get, and the military, two big economies that people don't realize. You have these two plus the regular economy. But if you do away with the senior citizen, that extra money some of them have, or just making paycheck to paycheck, that money flow will not go out into the economy. The whole country collapse will be into a severe depression. So if that happens, nobody's going to have anything. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Okay. Goodbye.
God.
Yeah, I mean, certainly people will be very, up in arms. And, I mean, I think people feel like nothing's happening. And I am seeing more and more that it's simply not being covered. There are demonstrations in Chicago daily. It's covered locally. It is not covered at all nationally in any way. And I think this is happening all over, and it's purposeful so that people feel isolated.
Oh God, yeah. So a lot of people are unaware. There's an election taking place in Wisconsin in about a month, and it is something that normally the rest of the country, and for that matter, a lot of Wisconsinites wouldn't even pay attention to. But it is for a seat on the Supreme Court there, and it is a consequential seat. It will determine whether that court goes Trump or stays as a Democratic court. And I mean by democratic, I mean, valuing democracy. So you have a MAGA candidate and you have a woman candidate whose name is Susan Crawford. I gave a whole bunch of money to her yesterday because
yeah, I did too. Well, I gave money to her last week.
Elon Musk, the world's richest man, is pouring millions of dollars into that race. This is where
so you know, Pritzker put $500,000 and Soros put at least $1 million in so far.
Okay, so
and there's a lot of
some of our rich guys too, but
we got our rich guys too.
Well, we don't in any way have more. Musk could, without blinking, he can put 20 million down. Whatever. That this should be allowed. This oligarchs absolutely trying to buy elections. And of course,
well, I'm going to have a problem with electing Supreme Court justices in such a partisan fashion anyway. I mean, that's where the system breaks down in the first place. Judgeship should not be
political,
partisan positions.
Right.
And the minute you went down that road, you undermine the judiciary, which
right.
by its nature is not supposed to be partisan.
Well, yeah, not. But that's
well, it is. But I'm just saying there are places, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Missouri does not elect those judges.
There are some places, but yeah, it's very rare to find anything that's not partisan now. Everything's partisan. I mean, where you shop, what you wear, everything becomes political in a fraught environment that we are living in. But Elon Musk, I so despise him that it's hard for me to contain my contempt for him. This is a truly wounded, emotionally wounded boy child who, because of his wealth, really thinks the world is his playpen. And, the universe. I mean, let's add the universe in. And now our own government, just his playthings. And he is so vile a human that
he really is.
He really is. That if Trump keeps him out there as his point man, as he is doing, the good news is it cannot help Trump. Cannot help him. And this idea that Musk is some friggin' genius. He is not. He is not. Smoke and mirrors.
He's like Trump. He's very good at losing money.
Yeah. Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. And then he puts up one of these starships the other day. It blows up all over the place, raining debris down on on people.
Well, no, you got to go back. And this is the second time that's happened. The first time there was a working agency that he was in trouble with, and he had to answer to.
And it's
in
gone
between
now.
that, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. So
and now he can disrupt air traffic and pollute our waters and our air all he wants.
Well, that's when I read about this, and I saw that there were, a number of airplanes grounded all over the eastern seaboard because of him, and this mess that he made it dangerous for the planes to take off or land. This is not the way a country, a democracy, should be. Having this little rich boy play with our stuff, break our stuff, suffer no consequences, in fact, be rewarded with more and more access and power. I just am blown away by it. Oh. Hang on here, Sue. Sorry.
Okay.
Ouch.
What?
That was nothing. I just
what
dropped.
Happened?
I dropped. Mouse down. Mouse down. Hang on. I got it. We got a caller. I'm just trying to get a caller in here. Hello.
I hear Great Britain, France, and Spain want their old territories back in North America.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should at least, renegotiate the price of the Louisiana territory.
Yeah, I what's the difference, right? I thought imperialism was long over with, but I guess not.
No, because Trump is like this, any autocratic mindset, where power, might and power and are what it's all about. He's playing Putin, and Putin, Putin wanted more, so he decided Ukraine. And the fact that Trump is eyeing Canada and eyeing Greenland, I think should be taken seriously. He's that insane. We've got these two crazy men.
I have a friend who's retired military, and after the election, he said, I was complaining, what's going to happen next, you blah blah blah. And he says, well, Roger, just so you know, he says, as in the military, we have the right to ignore orders because we have to uphold the Constitution. And it sounded good at the time, but that was before he fired all his Joint Chiefs of Staff and started putting in his supporters. So I don't know if we have a safety net anymore.
Yeah.
Well, then it comes down to each man on his own. I mean, I've been thinking about that too. That I would hope that if it comes to that, and we're in a civil war, half of the national defenses will not fight against the Constitution and come and fight for the resistance.
Wait. Which is the resistance?
We are the resistance.
But the Constitution is on our side, though.
That's right. So if they choose the Constitution, they desert the army and come and fight for the resistance. Us.
Yeah. Well, we need that. What do they call it? The football, though, to keep it away from the crazy man.
Yeah.
Well, he's got it. So there's no keeping it away from him. He's got it. Oh, dear God in heaven.
All right. Well, look outside. It's a beautiful day here in Pittsburgh. Susan, I don't know what it's like where you're at.
It's absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be in the high 50s. It was in the 60s yesterday. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And yes, and steady, think local. Let's just help our neighbor. Let's just survive.
That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Suze. There was this silly little thing that I wanted. Here, let's do something silly. Okay. And get away from this shit. Can we?
Please.
Okay. I found something. It was in the New York Times. It was in the style section. You can always find stuff that drives you crazy in the style section. And it says, parents are going all out to celebrate news of college acceptances.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, more bragging. Oh no.
It's not just the bragging. It's the what? It's like it's the ridiculous expending of energy and emotion, making what used to be something where you'd open up a letter. Hey, I got in, everybody would be happy, you'd hug, you'd this, you'd that, and that was it, right?
Right.
Why has everything gotten so out of control? And I think it's because of the influencers and social media, because it says right here, social media platforms like TikTok and Pinterest help bring the trend to other parts of the country. It began in the South. Great ideas often happen in the South, like slavery and, stuff like that. And then social media spreads them. And it's when they get their acceptance. And they're called bed parties, Susan. You cannot make this up. They redo the bedroom of the kid in the colors of the university, in 500 million balloons and banners and swag and and hats and t-shirts and sweatshirts, all this crap from the school they're going to be going to.
Rah, rah.
An inflatable palm tree and balloons, t-shirts, shorts, swimwear, pair of special edition Nike sneakers.
Oh, they're going to the University of Miami, are they?
Yeah, you could tell. Yeah. And so this woman,
and not in Miami, Ohio, not that one.
The University of Miami. So they talk about this girl who got into the University of Miami, and her mother, Melinda Long, going hog wild, throwing this party. And of course they posted it.
How hard is it to get in? I want to know.
Yeah, well, it's not that big a deal. So getting it cost, the party cost thousands of dollars. And she, of course, then the mother posted it on TikTok, because that's what you do. And the article says it got strong reactions. Well, I'm so glad to hear that, because a lot of the reactions were from people like me. Someone wrote, "This is a $90,000 college, and it's just a college acceptance. It's not a wedding. It's not a shower." I'm against a lot of those things too. What is this with people's need to make everything, well, because we live in this totally over-commercialized environment where our job is to overspend. And
we live in a place where people seem to not feel that they exist if they aren't sharing their lives with total strangers. It seems to me that if you were filled up with your family and your friends, you wouldn't be reaching out to total strangers on the internet for validation, because they're just going for likes. So this is, and we wouldn't all be seeing it if it weren't shareable to the general public. So that's a choice. So people are doing it because we've created a need for, if you can't be a movie star, you can still get a lot of likes from strangers on the internet.
It's so pathetic. It's
very needy.
It's
so extremely needy, folks.
It's not only needy, but what does it do to the kid at the center of this kind of reality, where they get the sense that they always have to be the center of the, anything that happens to them that's good has to be somehow celebrated? I mean, I don't know. Granted, I sound like an old fart.
Why isn't the good thing happening enough?
Yes.
I mean, now, I'm just remembering. Oh boy, if this is something we wanted and you got it, why isn't congratulations the appropriate response? The thing itself.
I don't understand.
Gets lost in everybody else. Boy, that mother needs. It's certainly not about the kid, and the kid ought to figure that out pretty soon. It's not about the kid.
Well, kid's probably
all about the mother feeding off the kid.
Well, it could also be the kid getting different, all the wrong, sort of the wrong ideas about the proper way to live one's life and to celebrate and what's important and what's not. I don't know. I see now when kids go, and colleges have done this too. The dormitory that I went off to in college was this tiny little room with 2 twin beds, 2 dressers, and 2 desks. That was it.
Yep.
And it didn't occur to me to bring anything other than a pair, some sheets for the bed and a pillow and some clothes. I don't remember. We didn't have anything in those rooms. We didn't have televisions. We didn't have mini refrigerators. Now, granted, those things, we just didn't live that way.
I did have a mini refrigerator, which my roommate and I shared. And one of the reasons was because the meal service was closed on Sunday. And so you like to keep the makings for, a sandwich or a can of soup or something, in your room. But that was it. And no televisions or anything.
There was
if someone had a TV, it was a big thing, and there would be a party every once in a while just to sit around and mindlessly watch TV. But no, there were other things to do.
I see what people do. They put, they buy, they furnish these dorms now. And what a bunch of spoiled brat kids. Jesus H. And I'm thinking the $2,000 this woman spent on this, wouldn't it have been better spent if she put it in some college fund for a kid who probably has more to offer than her airhead daughter, and they can't get to college because they don't have the money? I hate people. I just hate people and their choices. The selfishness in this country. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. The shallowness, the selfishness, the show-offness.
And the net result is, if the community that you create is on the other side of a screen, and the community that you abandon because you have no time for them is the community right outside your front door, which in previous generations you would be real involved with, and it would be their approval that you would be looking for.
Yeah.
And instead, we've divided our communities. We're all, and the only way to, feel safe and still seek approval is locked in your room.
I don't know. I thought this was going to be more lighthearted, isn't this? Now I'm so depressed.
I'm so sorry. I'm turning into my older brother and sister whose mind goes to the negative. That's not usually my way.
Well, it's pretty hard not to have minds go to the negative in these times. I'll tell you. But the sky is blue, the sun is shining, so yeah, take that in too. Okay? Sorry about this, guys. I don't know why anyone can bear to listen. And in fact, I don't think as many are.
Well, they can turn us off like MSNBC.
Yeah, and I totally get it. I don't want to listen to any of that stuff.
No, I mean, I was listening yesterday for the first time in a long time because our mother listens incessantly. And I thought I would die. And finally, I wrested the remote control from her and found a really good movie. And we watched movies late into the evening together.
Any good ones?
What we were watching, we started with it was Jack Lemmon. We watched
The Apartment. The Apartment. You were watching TCM.
It was wonderful.
That's a wonderful movie. That's a wonderful movie.
Shirley and then we watched the one that came after. Yeah, and I can't remember what that was because I was doing dishes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, good. Time well spent. Okay. Well, that's that. Sorry, Suze. You staying there for a while, or are you traveling today?
I haven't figured that part out. It's one of those times where if I go back, I run back and forth for 2 seconds, and then I need to be back. So I don't know.
Probably stay.
If I can stay, I will. It would be easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, talk to you soon, and thanks.
Okay.
Right.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Okay, guys, I found my little music outro, so here it comes. And nothing said here is...
Lynn Cullen Live.
Yeah.
Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.
Definitely not its advertisers. Oh, there we go again.